This lesson is on section 9.5, titled Combinations, and arrangement or listing of objects in which order is not important is called a combination. So my first example is that says that Jill was asked by her teacher to choose 3 topics from the 8 topics given to her. How many different 3-topic groups should she choose? So I'm going to underline what's important in this story problem. So she has to choose 3 topics out of the 8 topics that was given. 3 topics out of the 8 topics that were given. Okay, so I'm going to set up this problem as a fraction. So I'm going to write a fraction bar. So she gets to choose 3 different topics. So I'm going to put 3 spaces in my numerator, and I'm going to put 3 spaces in my denominator. Again, I chose 3 because she gets to pick 3 topics. Now that there are 8 topics that are given to her, so she has 8 to pick from. So for my numerator, I'm going to count back from 8. I'm going to say 8, 7, 6. Then for my denominator, I'm going to count back from 3 because she gets to pick 3 topics out of the 8. So I'm going to count back from 3, 3, 2, 1. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a multiplication sign in between the numbers. So my fraction says 8 times 7 times 6 divided by 3 times 2 times 1. So now I have to simplify. Now I'm going to cross cancel. I'm going to say, are there any common factors between any numbers in my numerator and my denominator? Well, I know that 2 and 6 both have a factor of 2 in common. 2 goes into 2 1 time. 2 goes into 6 3 times. Again, I'm simplifying just to make the multiplying easier at the end. Okay, and then I say, is there any other factors that I have in common? Well, I can look now, and I can say, oh, well, I have this 3, and then I have this 3 that I created in common. 3 goes into 3 1 time. 3 goes into 3 1 time. So now I can multiply my numerator, and I can multiply to my denominator. 8 times 7 times 1 is 56, and then 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. So my answer is 56. Again, this seems like it's a pretty complicated process, but with practice it gets easier. And I'm going to do another example to help you. So my next example is, on a quiz, you are allowed to answer 4 out of 6 questions. How many ways can you choose the questions? Okay, so again, I'm going to underline what's important to me in this story problem. So I can choose 4 out of 6 questions. Again, I get to pick 4, but it's out of 6. So I'm going to have my fraction. I'm going to have my fraction bar. Because I get to choose 4, I'm going to have 4 spaces, both on my numerator and my denominator. But there are 6 different options for me to pick from. So I'm going to count back from 6. 6 times 5 times 4 times 3. And again, I have 4 options to pick from. So I'm going to count back from 4. 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Again, let's go back to the story problem. I have 6 different questions, and I'm allowed to choose 4 of those 6. So that's why there's 4 spaces. The numerator I count back from 6, and the denominator I count back from 4. Now I get to simplify to make my multiplying easier. I got to find common factors. So 3 and 3 both have a common factor of 3, so 3 goes into 3 1 time, 3 goes into 3 1 time. Now I see I have common factors of 4. 4 goes into 4 1 time, 4 goes into 4 1 time. And then I can simplify, I see common factors of 2. 2 goes into 6 3 times, 2 goes into 2 1 time. So it looks like I cannot simplify anymore. So now all I have to do is multiply. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 times 1 is 15 times 1 is 15. Now I'm going to multiply my denominator. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. So my answer is 15. So again, I have 15 different ways that I can choose the questions. And that brings us to the end of this lesson on Section 9.5 combinations.